Let's do it, guys. Second podcast today, Monday, April 1st. It's not an April Fool's joke. We are going to preview UFC Vegas 90. Crazy. We're also at UFC Vegas 100, Marcel. It's crazy to me. It'll happen by the end of the year, probably. Keep doing shows in the Apex. We got the rematch between Brendan Allen and Chris Curtis. 13 fights in total, I believe. So I think we just, what's the point of wasting time? Let's just jump into it. I'm going to take these really quick comments and we'll start reading the card. We got Tristan, Octo Gates, Antoine. He's talking about Goddard. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of strange that we haven't seen it. But again, he doesn't really do, I don't think, events in Atlantic City. I'm sure we'll see him back. I would assume at UFC 300, Mark Goddard. I would imagine so. All right, let's get into the card, Marcel. Again, 13 fights in total, guys. We have odds for all of them. I always ask you this: what's your overall thoughts on this card before we break it down one by one?
It's an okay card. I only think it's kind of a weird bout order. That's all I think.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think that's definitely fair. All right, let's get into it, Marcel. We're going to start at the first fight, work our way down, work our way up, I should say, on UFCstats.com. Let's start with the first fight here, Marcel. First fight of the night, we have Nora Cornolle taking on Melissa Mullins. And the odds for this one, Marcel, have Mullins is favored. Minus 325, Nora Cornolle plus 260. So at first I'm like, wait, Melissa Mullins, because it was Melissa Dixon. So yeah. I think she got divorced from her husband, who's a fighter as well, James Dixon. He's fighting an octagon. So that was her husband. And the only reason I know is because Bisping had said it on, because they're English, right? Bisping's like, oh, there's her husband in her recorder. He was her head coach. So now I think they're divorced because her name is different. And I did some detective work and that guy's got different girlfriend now or something. So that's why the name's different, guys. Because at first I was like, wait, who's this fighter, right? Like I was like, who is this, Marcel? It was a little weird. But she is a big favorite here, and I agree with the odds. I mean, I'll just say that right now. These odds are correct, I think. When I saw the fight now, so I'm like, yeah, this girl's pretty good. I mean, she's a pretty good fighter, Marcel. And, comes over from Eris, where I want to think she was a champ there, wasn't she?
No, I know she beat Daria Zeleznyk.
Yeah, that's a big win. She knocked her out. She has 2 wins in Eris. She wasn't a champ. I was wrong, but she had 2 wins there. The UFC's like, we have to sign this girl. Like, she's good. Yeah. And then she beat the Arena girl in her debut. Gritty fight, gets the win there. Looked good. You look at the way the fight went. I mean, she had a lot of control time. Once she got on top of her opponent, it was she just controlled her. She did get dropped in the fight. That's something to keep in mind, but I don't think it's going to hurt her. I know Cornolle is a decent striker. I did pick her in her debut against Edwards, and she won that fight as an underdog. I want to say she was like the only underdog that won on that card, the Paris card last year. She might have been. But I picked her, and I thought she's like decent. I think she's like okay, but I just think Mullins will be able to get her down to the ground, dude, and grind her. Because if you look at that last fight, Jocelyn Edwards had 5 takedowns. So, and 8 minutes of control. And I think that in this fight, Mullins, she'll do damage too. Like, she's not just going to lay there. She'll do damage. It's going to be a bloody fight, I think. I think Mullins wins the decision. That's what I think. She gets on top, ground and pound, and wins on points. I think she's a good, solid winner here, guys. The odds are obviously shit, minus 325. You wish it was closer. I was hoping it would be closer. I'm like, okay, hopefully the odds makers don't know this, but they know who's going to win this fight, I think, and I'm pretty confident she wins. So, what do you think, man?
I feel the same way, man. If you look at both girls, I think Mullins didn't look great in the first round of the fight against Irina Alexeyeva, but she came back in that fight and she won. Yeah. Nora Cornolle, she got pretty lucky, man, with the decision. Let's be honest. I thought close. That Justin Edwards won the fight. To be really honest, a lot of people did. That said, I think Mullins will use her ground game in this fight, and I think she will win. I'm also with you with the unanimous decision.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I think she could get TKO. I think it's possible with ground and pound. I think it's possible. Because again, she did defeat Daria with ground and pound, Marcel and Eris. So, by the way, Anthony asked, you're a hardcore soccer fan? You are, right? Hardcore?
I'm a big fan of Ajax. That's my team, and you have like in the second division, you have MVV. That's like the local team here. It's also a pro club. I'm also supporting them, obviously. But Ajax my team. So
is Ajax in Holland? Is it
it's Amsterdam. Pretty much.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's the biggest club in the Netherlands, but that's pretty much my team. So I support them, and many people are really big on like these country tournaments, And of course, I want Netherlands to do well, but I'm more of an Ajax fan than I'm like a Dutch national team fan, So there you go.
For sure. All right, Knox, it's a scrapper she is, and she did beat Daria, who looked decent in that fight. All right, let's get back to the breakdowns. Next fight, Dylan Budka taking on Cesar Almeida. Interesting middleweight fight here. Two guys from Contender Series. The odds open, I think they were like a pick'em, and now some early steams come in on Budka, although it's balancing back. But yeah, Budka minus 155, Cesar Almeida plus 130. I'd like to hear your thoughts on this fight first, Marcel. What do you think about this one?
I think Budka is going to shoot immediately, man, to be really honest. And I know Almeida did well in this Contender Series fight. But that's pretty much, I think, if Almeida can keep it standing, he wins the fight, because he's a former kickboxer. He's also pretty good. He has a win over Alex Pereira. He lost twice to him as well, but he has a win over him as well.
Yeah.
I'm going with Budka, man. It's MMA. It's not kickboxing. I think Budka wins the decision.
I get it. I do get that. And I think a lot of people will pick Budka. I think there's going to be sharp money on him. I get it because in MMA, a lot of times you're just like, who's the better wrestler this guy is, right? So I get it, but I get it. He's also 24, and the other guy's 36. So I understand all that. But I'm going to hit the button, Marcel. I'm taking a dog. Hit the button. Yeah. I'm going to take a shot on Cesar, man, because for me, it's I think that he's got a few bullets left in him to get some wins in the UFC here. First off, man, I was really impressed with his women contender. He goes in there against a guy with more experience. Lucas Fernando got an LFA champion, and then he beats him. He did get taken down a couple times, but immediately worked to get back up each time. I was very impressed by the get-up game. And on the feet, he did a lot of damage. I'm pretty sure there was a 10-8 round or a couple of scorecards. There was 2 scorecards had 10-8. So to me, that was a nice UFC debut. And I'm Budka, so he's kind of interesting too because he's got 9 fights in 2 years. So he's been fighting crazy amount of fights. And then he gets signed off this really shitty fight in Contender. It was a really shitty, terrible fight. And I was surprised he got signed. I don't hate it because I think he's a decent prospect. But also
very short notice.
And this is short notice too, right? That was short notice too, right? Yeah. So, but I also feel like the style is not what they would sign too, because I think he's just a pure grappler with not much else. So I don't know, man. I mean, he might win the fight. Obviously, he's the better grappler. I mean, there's no doubt about that. And this is the thing about this fight. I think whoever wins will look like a big favorite. I think you'll either have Budka just dominating the ground, or you're going to have Cesar stopping the takedowns, knocking him out. That's what I think. I think there's 2 ways this fight goes.
Yeah.
And I'm leaning towards the dog. I think Cesar can knock him out. I really do, because I think the level is just so much better. And I think the get up game's enough for him to get up. So we got the dog, Marcel. You made it pretty clear I'm taking the dog. But yeah, so I'm with Cesar Almeida plus 130 dog. Okay, a couple comments. Tristan likes Cesar too. Kyle, what's up, man? BS finished 1 second. With Mullins, yeah, it was a little early. I agree with that, but here's the thing: the referee is not looking at the clock, right? So yeah, they heard that clapper thing, but it doesn't mean that they'll know it's 1 second left. And even then, if they feel like this fight should be stopped, yeah, there's still time on the clock technically. Talking about Holland, Antoine, can we save the soccer questions for after, man?
I can give him that one.
Sure, give him that one. But after that, yeah,
I think he's amazing, man. One of the best strikers right now. I really like Holland. So
fair enough. Love Almeida. Me too. I like it too. Have to agree with you, Adam. Okay. It's supposed to be a dog. It's Glenn bought it for Marcel. It's supposed to be like a dog, like the dog barking. So
this is actually
Marcel.
It's actually Jean Silva. Is this from the Contender Series, the Brazilian guy?
Yeah, you told me about that, which is crazy. And speaking of John, this is a great segue. It's not John Silva. We got John Matsumoto taking on Dan Argueta here in the UFC bantamweight division. And interesting fight, Marcel. Odds for this one, Matsumoto minus 185, Argueta plus 154. So despite Dan having all the experience in the octagon, he's a decent underdog here. And Matsumoto, undefeated prospect, coming in here as a big favorite. Yeah, I mean, I think this fight is interesting too. I kind of feel like it's a little tricky because I think Matsumoto is a pretty good prospect, Marcel, undefeated obviously, but hasn't really been tested against anyone that's that great. And Argueta does have 4 or 5 fights on the UFC, 4 fights, it's his 5th one. So he's fought some good guys, and he has looked good at times, but also kind of the last fight not the greatest. And then it's weird. I think he's the only guy that has back-to-back no contest in the UFC. I've never seen that before, but yeah, I think Dan is decent. I think he's a decent fighter. I think he can be a live dog here. It's just not a fight I have a great read on because again, I just, I haven't seen enough from this dude, from G Matsumoto. Like, he looked good at Contender. I'm glad they signed him, but I don't know, man. What do you think about this one? I'll take Matsumoto, by the way, but I wouldn't bet on this fight personally. What do you think, though?
Yeah, man. I think it's gonna be a difficult fight, man. Actually, to pick because we know our Argueta fight. Matsumoto is a big talent, man. I was impressed by him against Casey Tanner in the Contender series. The thing is, first UFC fight is always difficult, and Argueta is an easy guy to win against. Argueta's last fight and the two fights ended in no contest. One because of the early stoppage against Ronnie Lawrence, and the other because Johns got the fight overturned because he won against Argueta. Yeah. I think we'll be close. For me, it's kind of a pick 'em. I know Matsumoto is a favorite. I'm going with Matsumoto, but I'm far from convinced.
Me too. And just a couple of comments. Tristan likes Matsumoto. That's what would be the competition Brazil. Yeah, I just look at his record. I just don't know the guys, but like the records are good, so I'm sure they're okay. Quite nice card as always. Jamie, you love every card, man. Let's be honest. Like you're a hardcore fan, like me, dude. But I'm with you. I think this card could be. I think hopefully after last week, it's gonna be like a nice return to form.
You see, Adam don't think I'm a hardcore fan. He's like, you're a hardcore fan like me. They didn't say like us, but
yeah, I know,
what can I say? What can I say?
I don't know why I fucking said that. Like us. I mean, like everyone in this chat. I mean, if you're fucking listening to you're all hardcores like us, man. Let's be honest. Like you wouldn't be sitting here like at 6:30 on Monday, not with your family eating dinner and doing this instead. So we appreciate you guys. All right, let's go back to the card. We got the women's flyweights going at Piera Rodriguez taking on Cynthia Calvillo. Calvillo lost 5 straight fights, so I mean, it's actually women's strawweight. My apologies. But yeah, Calvillo's got to win the fight here. I'll just say that. Odds for this one: Rodriguez is favored. She is minus. One sec.
150 or something.
Minus one. What? Sorry, I don't know why it's not. There it is. Minus 160. I typed in search. Like it came up with Marina Rodriguez. No, we didn't want Piera. Minus 166 and then plus 140 on Calvillo. So yeah, I mean, I get it because Piera is just fresher and then Calvillo 5 straight losses is hard to pick fighter with 5 straight losses to win. It really is. And I will say this though, her fights were competitive though. With Godinez and Nunes, they were somewhat competitive. I thought she was completely done after Andrea Lee finished her with that corner stoppage. I was like, man, this girl does not want to fight anymore. I really did. But because she's looked better. It's just that she hasn't been getting her hand raised. And then you have Piera here who, beats a couple like bottom end girls and Hughes and Hansen, and then she gets a step up against Jillian and gets submitted. So it's just hard to know because Jillian Robinson is going to submit a lot of people too, right? She's not like a scrub. She's really good. If Calvillo gets her down to the ground, can she submit her? I mean, she used to show submission skills when she came to the UFC. We haven't seen it in, she has 3 submission wins in the UFC, but we haven't seen one in 6 years. So it's been a while. I feel like Cynthia is a live dog here, Marcel, honestly, because I don't think Piera is that great. But I still have to pick Piera to win. I can't pick Cynthia. I think Piera can win the decision here. It's just there's again no way better in this fight. What do you think, man? Doing it?
Well, we're going with Calvillo in this fight. I think she wins the
decision.
Go.
Really?
I think she wins the decision. Yeah, man. I mean, I don't think she looked that bad in her last fight against Lupe Godinez. I actually thought she won the fight.
I did too.
Yeah. So, and I think she knows she has to win here, and Cynthia has I know she has a 5-fight losing skid. Still, I think she can win the fight on the ground with Piera Rodriguez, man.
Yeah.
And I'm going with the decision for Calvillo here, man.
I mean, I think it's very live. So again, it's a fight that I think is dog or pass. Calvillo is a little bit older, but again, way more experience in the higher level competition, and she is coming off those losses, but they were competitive fights, man. Very competitive. So we'll see what happens. Marcel, I don't blame you at all for taking the dog. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We have the men's bantamweights when Haile Alateng takes on Victor Hugo. And the odds for this one are Victor Hugo is a small favorite, minus 125, Alateng plus 105. So like almost a pick 'em, but slight lean towards the UFC newcomer, Victor Hugo. So the odds for this one, I just talked about the odds. The actual breakdown, I mean, again, I don't personally think I have a great read in this fight, Marcel, and I don't like forcing picks and bets if I don't have to. In this fight, it's like, this Victor guy looked good in the Contender. He has a really good record. He's fought good competition. He should win. He's a long win streak. He should win, but at the same time, Hailey Alateng has been fighting really good opposition in the UFC for a while now, Marcel, and pretty competitive in most of his fights. I don't think he's like amazing, but I'll tell you right now that win over Chad and Hellinger aged pretty well, hasn't it? I think it aged pretty well.
I agree.
So, and also that one over Dana, I know that guy's cut now, but the Bakary Dana guy, that guy was a good win too, So he's competitive. I mean, listen, he's not great. I just think he's a live dog too. So it's just like, again, I have to pick Hugo, this huge win streak. And again, he has fought some decent guys. And he's definitely, it's interesting. They call him Striker, right? That's his nickname, but he submitted the guy in his contender. So he's definitely dangerous, man. I have to pick him. But again, Hailey's a tough dude. He's hard to finish, and he's going to be there for 50 minutes. So I don't know. I mean, this is an interesting fight, and the odds are, I think they're going backwards. People are betting on Hailey Alateng. So what do you think about this, man?
Yeah, I feel like it's a close fight. I think this one is difficult to pick. I also are with you. I'm also going with Victor Hugo. I'll pick him next time if he changes his name in Boss, so it's Victor Hugo Boss. But I think he wins the fight. I think we'll be close, but I think he probably gets a decision here. I don't see a finish, to be really honest. I know he finished a lot of his last fight, but Alatengheili isn't easy to finish. You saw with Chris Gutierrez, so yeah.
Tristan, he's a fight ready, isn't he? Hailey, he's training with those guys, is he?
Well, I cannot give you a conclusion. I'm not sure.
Tristan would know, but I think so. I just looked at his tweets also, or his Instagram post. Also, he was doing some training with Freddie Roach, which is interesting, at the striking camp. What's it called again? I have to know this. Freddie Roach, obviously the boxing guy. What's that camp called?
Sorry?
Freddie Roach. What's his camp called? The one in Vegas, that boxing camp. What's it called? I should know this, guys, and I'm sorry.
Jesus.
Wild Card Boxing Gym. That's
yeah,
Wild Card. I'm just saying he was there too. So.
Glenn, who's Silva?
Probably he meant Hugo, right?
Or do you mean Hugo? Yeah.
Yeah, he's fought a crazy amount of weight class. I saw that as well, Glenn. All right, let's go to the next fight here. We have Norma Dumont taking on Germaine de Randamie. I'm going to tell you guys right now. So I'm just going to read the odds. Minus 192, Norma, plus 160, Germaine. Let's just hit the button right now. This is a consensus dog. I think the wrong fighter's favored in this fight. I think the wrong fighter's favored, guys. I really do. Germaine de Randamie should be the favorite in this fight. She really should be. It's just because she's 39 coming off of like a 4-year layoff. But she's the better fighter. She's the better striker. I think her grappling can hold up here. Also, there's a lot that I like about Germaine. I think, she's proven herself to be one of the best women's fighters of all time. I think she's probably the most underrated women's fighter, Marcel, to be like women's former champion. I don't think she gets her due. She has good wins. Look at this. Raquel, Juliana, Holly Holm. I mean, dude, those are some good wins, right? Great striking, good power. Only lost to Amanda in the UFC. And Amanda had to take her down, Marcel. Like, she couldn't really stand with her. Yeah, I was at that card. That fight was really boring, but I don't blame Amanda for doing what she had to do. But I mean, Germaine, and then we saw in their last fight the ground game, like some improvement there, right, by submitting Juliana. So in this fight, man, listen, Norma Dumont's done a good job lately, but I got some question marks first off about the weight cut to 135. I mean, I think she's going to really struggle. I think she'll miss weight probably. And even if she can make the weight, how much is going to take out of her? A lot. Where's she going to get that 50 pounds off her dump truck, Marcel? That's not happening. I don't know how she's, or not 15, 10 pounds. How is she going to drop 10 pounds? And she was already in pretty good shape, dude. Like, so I don't know how she's going to do it. I think she'll really struggle. I think she'll come in at like 137, 138. Like, I think she'll really deplete herself. Anyways, getting back to her, I mean, listen, she has, won in the UFC, but like the opposition has not been the best. It's been whatever featherweights they could find. And she's done what she has to do, but it's like she wins pretty easily, but they're not like impressive wins either. And then the few times she was challenged, Macy Chasson was able to kind of grind her out. And then you also had here's the fight I'm thinking about, the Megan Anderson fight where Megan knocked her out. And I understand that was her debut, and she's obviously improved since then. She's worked on her striking, but dude, I think there's a huge striking level difference in this fight. Like, I think it's massive, and I think the wrong fighter's favored. I really like Germaine de Randamie in this fight. I don't care if she's coming off a 4-year layoff. I think that it's hard to pick fighters off those kind of layoffs, Marcel, but the ones you do, GSP, Dominic Cruz, like legend type fighters. And Germaine is one of the women's legends in the UFC. Again, one of the most underrated women's fighters of all time. You look at that resume, dude, it's very good. I think she wins this fight, Marcel. I know you agree with me, dude.
Yeah, first of all, massive disrespect to put her on the prelims of a fight night. UFC would never do that to Misha Tate or Holly Holm or Juliana Pena, putting them on the prelims of a fight night. Um, this fight should be on the main card, in my opinion. Yeah, man. I've thought about it. And I don't know how Norma is going to beat Germaine. I mean, does she going to take her down and hold her there? That's pretty much the only way she can win that fight, I think, because striking wise, Germaine will walk through her. Yeah, I think Germaine finish her early, probably. To be really honest. Yeah,
I'm with you. I think the TKO prop is the one to go, guys. Because if you look at Germaine, like she's a very low volume striker, but she'll connect with big shots here and there, and it really changes the rounds and also the fight.
By the way,
and just you can knock her out. What are you gonna say?
What Tristan says, she also has a knockout win over Larissa Pacheco as well in the UFC back then.
Dude, I completely forgot about that. So I actually bet on that fight. That was UFC Dallas. That was on I think that was the GSP Hendricks card. I want to double check, but I think it was. Was it? Let me double check here.
What's a pay-per-view, I think.
Yeah, it was on. Sorry, not GSP Hendricks. My bad. I meant to say Pettis Dos Anjos. It was also in Texas. My bad. I mean, I think they both were right. Yeah, Dallas. I don't know why I said GSP Hendricks. Hendricks was on the card against Matt Brown. My bad. Anyways, dude. I mean, that wins age well. But I was gonna say, I remember I bet on Pacheco, and I'm like, okay, this girl's like a really good prospect, and I'm like, never again after that.
I think they look way too much into that she hasn't fought for 3.5 years.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. But she had a kid, right?
She had a kid, yeah, and she was supposed to come back last year, but she didn't, and then now she's
still a cop, by the way. Is she still doing that?
I think she's. I'm not sure. I don't think, to be really honest. But maybe I'm not sure. Now I'll ask her on Wednesday.
You're interviewing her, right? Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah.
So,
dude, I think she wins by knockout. I think that's like, remember the fight with Megan Anderson? I think that same thing happens here. I really do. Germaine will find a big shot and hurt her bad. That's the way to go, guys.
By the way, Glenn, this is our first fight with dominance.
Oh God! Yeah. If she wins, do you think she gets fast tracked to like the top of the division because she did beat Juliana Pena in her last fight?
I think she deserves to be on top of the division, man, if she wins. But at the same time, I think the UFC really hopes that Kayla Harrison wins against Holly Holm, and they're going to give her a Raquel Pennington. That's what I think.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's get to the next fight, guys. We do have a consensus dog once again, Germaine D. Randamie.
Nice.
All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We have two veteran welterweights, Court McGee and Alex Morono, going at it. Morono is favored minus 298. Court McGee plus 240. I mean, I'm all over Morono in this fight.
Sounds kind of nasty, but I agree.
Dude, I mean, how could you pick Court McGee? I mean, what is he, 40? Turning 40 this year, but it's an older 40. Like, the amount of wars he's been in, first off, and then the knockouts. The last two fights, he was brutally knocked out by Matt Brown and Jeremiah Wells. And he went like a long time without getting knocked out more. So I think the chin, like I talked about it with that other guy, Angel Pacheco, the last podcast. Once your chin goes to, it's going to go. It just goes. He goes in there against Alex Morono, who is, you talk about underrated fighters. I mean, he's got to be one of the most underrated guys at welterweight. Like, I think he's really solid. He's been in the UFC a long time now. He's had a lot of fights. He's a good fighter, well-rounded. How does Court win? Like, he's not. I don't think he'll grind Morono out. I know his takedown defense isn't the best, but I don't see Court being this like amazing wrestler. It's gonna, take down Morono. I think Morono keeps his staying, just outstrikes him, maybe knocks him out. Probably knocks him out. What do you think?
DQ by IPO. I also think Morono wins, man. I think Morono is one of these guys who is like kind of underrated in the division. At the same time, he loses a fight. I think this can get him now towards top 15, and then he loses against Joaquin Buckley, for example. But I mean, in hindsight, that's maybe not a bad loss by decision. But I'm on Morono as well. I think he's the younger guy. He has more upside in this fight. I'll pick him as well by decision, probably.
Yeah, I mean, decision or knockout, I think are both possible here. All right. Go to the next fight here. Trevor Peek taking on Charlie Campbell, UFC lightweight division. I mean, holy fucking shit, right? With this fight? Like, I can't see this fight being boring, dude. I can't be being boring. And this is main card opener, right? So this is the perfect main card opener for an Apex card, to be honest with you. Like, it's a really good bout order here, I think, having it fight first. Odds for this one, Charlie Campbell's favored minus 192, Trevor Peek plus 160. Yeah, I mean, honestly, like, I'm going to pick Charlie Campbell by knockout because I think he's the better, cleaner striker and everything. But, man, I wouldn't be surprised if Trevor Peek was able to like withstand the big shots and then knock him out with like a counter punch or something. It wouldn't surprise me, man. Kind of like that Chris Duncan fight, where he was going to war. I think it'll be like that. I think it's gonna be a fucking war. I think it ends probably in like the first round here. I'm gonna take Charlie Campbell because I just think he's the way more technical striker, dude, and he has big power. And Peek, I know he's got power, but the striking is just there's a lot of holes. I'll just say that, I will say though, it was interesting to see him go for takedowns his last fight. That was so weird, right? Like it's the Muhammad Diallo guy. I couldn't believe he was wrestling him. It does show that he's, he's well-rounded, but I don't know. I mean, I just think Campbell will be able to keep it standing and then probably get him there. But again, I think that Peek is. I kind of think he's a live dog too, a little bit. I don't know. What do you think about this one, man? What do you think about this fight?
Yeah, I'm also going for Naomi's brother. I think Charlie Campbell is going to win here. I'm sorry, I'm such a bad joke.
Scream or was it?
She's a model.
I think of Nev Campbell. Or thinking, is that what I'm thinking about?
I said Naomi Campbell. Yeah,
I know. I got it wrong. I think what's the girl's name from that movie? Gotta double check now.
Yeah, you check it. I'll talk. I'll go with Campbell here on this fight. I think this won't make it out of the first round, to be really honest.
Nev Campbell. That's the one I thought you said. My bad. Okay. But no, I think so too. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So Peek did his camp in Colorado. Bang boy. I mean, he's kind of interesting, man. He's kind of an interesting guy because he's got he's tough as fucking hell. He's got all-rounded skills apparently. And Campbell's been knocked out. I don't know. I think Peek's got a chance, but he's just the technique is out there. Yeah. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got Valter Walker making his UFC debut, taking on Lukasz Brzeski. Did I say it right? What?
Is Valter Walker the first fighter ever to use his brother's first name as his last name?
That's so fucking crazy. What? Are they half brothers? These guys?
I don't know, but I know that Johnny Walker's real name is Walker Johnny Barra de Souza.
Johnny, I know, it's so weird, right? I know. I remember when I met him. I met him in Brazil, and his manager, the Lukasz guy. I don't think he's with him anymore, by the way. But Lukasz is like, yeah, his name is actually Walker Johnny. I'm like, what? I was like so confused. What are you guys talking about? Anyways, Valter Walker is favored here, minus 360. Brzeski plus 285. So I think he's the biggest favorite in the card. Yeah, I mean, I think he knocks out Brzeski. He's going to send Brzeski packing from the UFC. Brzeski is not UFC caliber, man, at all. Which is too bad because, I thought he beat Budai in his debut, but since then it just looked bad. And the last fight was really bad against Cortez Acosta. I know that guy's a good puncher and everything, but Valter Walker, big power, good wrestling too. Dude, he's pretty interesting prospect. The Clean Monster is an interesting nickname too, I find. I guess he's just technique is really clean. I think that's what he's saying, but he's a big dude. Yeah, man. And Marcel, he takes guys down and beats them up on the ground too, right? So he's a guy that should win this fight. I think he'll win by knockout, probably first round. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm afraid Lukasz cannot buy his wife after the fight at Brzeski. I think I think Valter wins, man. This is a pretty much a setup fight for Valter Walker, to be honest. Brzeski looked bad in his last two fights, and I actually think he looked pretty decent against Budai, where he lost a split decision. He could have won that fight, I think, but the last fight against Waldo was bad. The fight against Carl Williams, he got taken down at will. Now, Valter Walker, I got to go with him. I know it's his debut. It's always difficult to pick somebody with such a big favorite on his debut, right? But I got to go with Walker, and I think he knocks him out pretty much. So, yeah, Valter Walker.
No, I'm with you. I think he's an interesting prospect at heavyweight for sure. And I've used that word way too much lately. But anyways, go back to the next one. Ignacio Bahamondes taking on Christos Giagos in the lightweight division. Ignacio is a big favorite too, minus 345. Giagos plus 275. And I mean, there's no way I'd pick Giagos here. I haven't been great picking his fights, man. I gotta be honest, Marcel. He's had some upsets I didn't really see coming in his career, but I can't pick him here, dude. I'm really high on Ignacio still. I know he lost to Klein. It wasn't like a great performance, but Klein is really good, and I don't want to take too much down on my stock for this guy because I think he's solid, man. I think he's a good striker. I think he can submit people too. I think he finishes Giagos. I think a knockout is most likely because he's more of a striker and has that one submission win. But I think a sub is also possible, man. Giagos is a guy that can be subbed pretty easily. So, yeah, I mean, I think Giagos is going to have to really just grind him out, wrestle Ignacio if he wants to pull this off. He is probably got the better pure wrestling here, but I think that, he'll keep his standing, Ignacio, pick him apart and finish him. So Ignacio inside the distance. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, Giagos, he kind of did, I think he did well in the first round against Hugo, right? And they've been doing much UFC, but after that, he got finished. And Bahamondes, like you said, he lost to Ludovic Klein last time. But I'm also still high on him. I think he's still young. He can still improve. I like him a lot. Wouldn't be surprised if he even finishes Giagos, man. But I'm also with a decision here.
Decision, okay, that's interesting. I just feel like Giagos' durability is a question mark personally. So, yeah, Giago, yeah, he's got cardio issues too. I think it's a late finish here, Marcel. All right,
yeah, I'm with you actually. Yeah,
you're right. Like I think he's got cardio problems personally. So, I mean, not to say I don't either. My cardio is not very good either. But we're talking about fighters here. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We got Morgan Charriere taking on Chepe Mariscal, featherweight division fight. Close odds for this one too, man. Morgan Charriere minus 125, Chepe Mariscal plus 105. I'll let you start, man. What do you think about this one, dude?
Yeah, fun fight. I like it a lot, actually, but I'm going with the underdog here. I really like Chepe Mariscal. He looked good against Trevor Peak. Remember, that was a crazy fight. I think the Jack Jenkins one, I mean, he threw him in the air and he injured himself, Jenkins. I think Chepe is a really underrated guy, man, and he really got me over in his last couple of fights. If you look at Morgan Charriere, I mean, he had a good win over Manolo Cecchini. But he was supposed to beat that guy, I still think, And before that, he did pretty well in Cage Warriors, but there were really difficulties to find opponents for him, And the guys he had to beat were Jordan Vucinic and Paul Hughes. He lost to both of the guys, both by close fight, but he lost to them. Yeah. I think Charriere, very fun fight to watch, fun fighter to watch. But I'm picking Chepe Mariscal. I think he wins the decision here.
I mean, I feel like this is another tough one to call. I mean, the odds are obviously, pick them almost. Mariscal is clearly a live dog. I mean, there's no doubt he's a live dog. I think the line's gone down too. I'm pretty sure Charriere opened as a bigger favorite, went down a bit. My pick would be Charriere, Marcel, to maybe knock out Mariscal. I know he hasn't been knocked out in the UFC, but he has before. I think that's kind of the way I'm going because that's kind of what Charriere does with the knockouts. But I can't bet on this. I'm not confident enough to even pick it. So. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of like I'm on the fence, but that would be my lean. If you had to ask me, so it's only a slight lean though, Marcel. I know you've had a few of those fights on this card too. Like this, pretty good matchmaking on this card, I would say overall. All right, we'll go to the next fight here. We've got Damon Jackson taking on Alexander the Great Ape Hernandez. Odds for this one: Hernandez minus 198, Damon Jackson plus 164. Yeah, I'll just start right now. I mean, I have to pick Hernandez. I just can't pick Damon Jackson after the last couple of fights. Getting knocked by Ige, Cornolle grinding him out. He had that nice run where really culminated with that crazy knockout over Pav Sabatini, and then talked about his brother, I think, passing away like the day before or something. It was crazy, right? That crazy story. Like I like Damon Jackson, man. He's a good grappler, dude. Very good, but I think the striking is an issue. And Hernandez, again, his takedown defense isn't great, but I think at featherweight it's going to be a little better. As long as he conserves his energy. I think he'll be able to grind this one out for 15 minutes. But again, at featherweight, man, he's different. He's different. He did get dropped by Bill Algeo, so his conditioning or durability might be a little worse. I don't know. I don't love him at featherweight. I still will lean him. He is the favorite here. I think he'll win decision, probably, or maybe knock out Damon Jackson, maybe. But I also can see Damon, hurting him and then submitting him too. I think it's possible. So, what do you think, man? I'm curious to your thoughts on this one.
You pretty much said what I wanted to say. I'm also going with Alexander Hernandez by decision. I think Damon definitely has a chance. I think can be close to fight, but I think Alexander gets his first win at 145 here.
I think it's possible too. So he is again 2-1 favorite. What's up, Alfonso? No, Charriere hits harder than Pete. Probably not, but again, it's a different. He'll mix up kicks to the body and stuff like that too. So we'll see what happens though. Main event time, rematch, Brendan Allen taking on Chris Curtis. Odds for this one, Brendan Allen minus 205, Chris Curtis plus 170. They fought in 2021, and the odds for that one had Brendan Allen was a minus 375 favorite and lost as a big favorite, and then Curtis plus 255 dog. So Curtis coming in here at short notice, filling in for Marvin Vittori. Brendan Allen coming into this fight on a nice roll, Marcel. Obviously,
6 fight win streak.
Yeah, he's finishing a lot of these guys. He finished his last 6 fights by rear naked choke. I mean, he's got to be one of the best guys to ever do the rear naked choke. Like I was looking at his not just UFC, like his whole record, bro. Most of his wins are by like rear naked choke. It's pretty crazy.
Got a real big question for you here. What do you think is better, rear naked choke or rear naked poke?
No comment. Let's say that. All right, let me take on the fight. No, but seriously, dude, he's 11-2 in the UFC. I mean, he's good. He's really good. But one of the losses is to Curtis, right? He got knocked out, and Curtis looked, really good as a dog in that fight. Curtis is up and down in the UFC, very up and down. But he's definitely a pretty good striker and good takedown defense on paper, 92%. So if he keeps it standing, I mean, Brendan Allen's a good striker too, I think, but Curtis is very dangerous, dude. And Curtis, is very durable too. So yeah, I still think he's going to get submitted though at the same time, man. After saying all that, it's like, I know he's only been submitted, I think, once, but I still think Brendan Allen, just the improvements and everything and just the next level grappling skill, the cardio, I think he'll submit him late in the fight. That's kind of what I'm thinking here, man. What do you think, dude?
Knox just stole my line. I want to say I'm all in on Brendan Allen. So thank you, Knox, for that. Yeah, I'm all in on Brendan Allen. I think he wins by submission in the second round. That's my pick. I don't think Allen is the guy who makes the same mistake twice. He will be he will be on the lookout to not get caught this time, I think. And he leveled up. I don't say Curtis doesn't, but he leveled up in my opinion. And I like Allen a lot. So yeah, going with Brendan Allen.
Yeah, like here's the comment. I'll throw it up on the screen here. Blake doesn't like the card. Blake, I think the card's okay. I mean, it probably could use a few more fights, but I mean, it's an Apex card. We know what they're going to be. So yeah. Overall, I think it's a decent card. I mean, I think there's going to be some fun fights, but not a lot of name value either. I do like that it starts at 3 p.m. though. It's nice that it starts at 3, done by 9 for us. For you, it starts at 9 and done by 3.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, but that's okay.
Are you 6 hours or 5 hours right now? What time is it right now?
6. We went to summertime.
Right? Yeah, I thought so. Okay. All right. So really quick, just really
was really convenient this during the card, going from 2 a.m. to 3 a.m. Absolutely loved it.
I believe you.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I know. All right, quickly, let's go PFL. Like really quick. I don't want to spend too much time talking.
Okay, yes, we're just kidding. Go ahead.
No, I know, but okay. How about this? I'll just ask you this because honestly, guys, I don't care enough about it. I'll probably watch it just because on Thursday I don't have my daughter this week, so I'll probably end up watching it because what else am I going to do really on Thursday night? But
sure.
Yeah, I mean, is there any fight you're like really looking forward to?
I actually broke down this card with Santiago, but I cannot remember who was on the card anymore. So I'm not thinking. Yeah. What's the main event again?
Okay, I think it's Juliana Velasquez, right?
Oh, against Carmouche, yeah. Third time. I don't get why they made that fight again, to be honest.
I don't really get it either. I'm just trying.
It's men's heavyweight and women's flyweight, right?
Yeah, let me pull it up. I'll pull it up quick, but I want to go through this one really fast. I don't like
it's overall normally when it's the heavyweight and the women, it's the most sucky season fights of the 3 combined.
Yeah, I agree. All right. Oh wait, this is the wrong one, right?
No, that's week 2.
Sorry, guys, I clicked on the wrong one. My bad. Here it is. It's on Thursday. Okay, so Delia versus Valentin Moldavsky. Who do you think wins that one?
I have Moldavsky.
I was thinking the same. Goldsov should beat Vessel.
I have Goldsov, yeah. I have Carmouche. I have
probably James. Daniel James. Yeah, I like him too. Is he a dog? Let me check if he's a dog. Because I think he's a good underdog pick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a dog plus 140. So
Dakota did Chepe.
I was just going to say though, there's the consensus dog for PFL.
Was Dakota
minus 60-50?
Yeah, I thought it was something like that.
Yeah, I think I think she has a chance to win the tournament. To be honest, Lugoy Ivanov taking on Sergey Bilostini. Who is this guy?
He's pretty decent, but he lost by DQ last time.
He's favored. He's minus 150. Yeah. I would still lean Blagoy though. I don't know enough about this guy, but just the fact Blagoy has so much experience, man. I don't really remember this guy too much. He fought some decent guys.
He lost by DQ against Fortune.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that guy. Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, he's an interesting guy, but I don't know. Yvonne, look who's fought. I know he lost a couple fights, but look at the competition, Marcel. It's pretty high.
Yeah.
That's that one over Tai Tuivasa, which looks not as good now, but
Tyler wins.
Tyler's minus 1,000. That's a steal. She should be like minus 5,000. Maori, I don't know.
Popov.
Yeah.
Going with Popov, going with Kana Watanabe.
Yeah.
I'm going with Jenna Bishop. I'm going with
Yep.
Lucas Brennan. I'm going
Yep.
with Jordan Heiderman, and I'm going with Bryce Meredith. There you go. You should
I
check.
have the same picks as you.
You should check Ty Johnson, and you should check his record, and you should check he has a win over a Dutch master.
Ty
Johnson. Yeah. Go further down.
Who?
Do you see there by down, up. With a little bit up, a little bit more up there between the two losses.
This guy? Oh, oh, I've seen this guy before. Yeah.
What the hell?
Anyways, so yeah, that's it, guys. All right, I gotta get out of here. I'll answer this question. Oh shit, we have a new matchup. Marcelo James.
That's a rematch, right?
It's a rematch, right? Yeah. So you think James?
Yeah.
All right, let's value Bishop. Yeah, I think she should win. She's a good prospect. Is Slim is fighting Louis?
Oh, Slim wins that.
I gotta finish up here, Marcel. 1 second.
Go ahead.
My daughter wants to play again.
Just finish.
Right. Yeah. Who are you picking in the tournament? Okay, let's just really quickly answer that question for Side Collectibles. Yeah, I mean, I have to. You know what, man? Let me answer that next week because I gotta look at the cards more. Sorry, I don't have an answer for you right now, man. I have to look at it more. All right, let's end the podcast, Marcel. I gotta go play with a toddler here. So
yeah.
All right. So anything you want to say, Marcel, before we get out of here?
We're good, man. We're good. I'm sorry, guys. Adam has to go, and I want to go too.
No, I mean we did 2 hours anyways. We went long in the first podcast. No, I need to look at the brackets more. Side Collectibles. I'll answer it next week. I know that probably doesn't help you because you want to bet on it right now, but we'll see what happens.
You can ask in the Discord by James.
Yeah,
right? So.
Yeah. I'll think about that as well. So, anyways, guys, I appreciate everyone joining us. I hope you have a great night, guys, and we'll see you guys soon. All right, peace.
What?